And welcome back. Let's go through this one more time. Right then. I guess your story's pretty simple. You arrived at the office, found it locked, smelled blood, broke in. By that time, Mr. Sternwood had already passed away. Well, he didn't really pass. It's more like, someone pushed him away? Sure, why not? Now then, I have to ask again, just to be sure. You didn't touch anything, did you? I didn't, no. I will admit to touching the body. But I only did so to check if he was alive, naturally. Naturally? Something wrong, Detective? No, just something about the scene's a little bit off to me. Off? I don't have an idea on what he means by that. Could have something to do with this? We're going back to Shelley the Killer. That card looked really out of place. Thinking about it, I mean, the office itself looked pretty tidy. There to be a random card on the floor seems a bit strange to me. Really now? You never seen this card before? Not that I remember, no. I see. In that case, I guess I don't have any reason to elaborate, now do I? Touché. Just don't go spreading the fact that you saw that card around, okay? People misremember things all the time. It'd be a shame if you caused a panic because of that. Is it supposed to imply I have bad memory? Not at all. The last thing I need is people talking about the killer. Sorry, what? What? Now that we've seen the second big route, got a pretty good idea of what exactly the significance of the killer to Apollo. Did he just say that? Shelley the Killer? I see. This is the killer's infamous calling card. You okay there? The killer. Justice? Shelley the Killer. No. Stop. You have to breathe, Justice. Just breathe, okay? We'll deal with it later. Huh. So how about that bad luck? You okay? Yeah, just, sick a bit. That's all. It's normal. It happens. The killer. For all the people in the world to cross paths with. Well, anyway. I only have one more question. What were you two gentlemen doing there in the first place? Ah, that's, we may as well be honest. Well, it was like this. I don't really remember if both cases here took us to that, the safe ending. Or no, that was the coffin ending, which was just the to be continued. Well, it was like this. The story lock, pretty much. I see. Amelia Wonderly. Huh. Small world. That name actually rings a bell. Anything you can tell us about her? Her incident? Any reason I should? I mean, not like there's much to tell. While her case isn't resolved or anything, it seems pretty open and shut. Miss Wonderly seems to have committed suicide by overdosing on sleeping pills. Her roommate was out of town at the time, so she was completely alone. Looking into things, but so far there doesn't seem to be anything pointing to murder. I suspect it's only a matter of time before the toxicology confirms it. It is still theoretically possible that Kristoff's involvement in Wonderly's suicide was a complete fabrication. Though I suppose that letter does change a thing or two. If you don't mind, I'd like to borrow it for a bit. I imagine it's in your best interest. The police could do a lot more to track down its origin. Well, that's fair enough. I imagine that's fair enough. Danke? I keep fucking up trying to do Kristoff's accent. I promise I'll keep you posted. Get it? Letter. Posted. No? Oh well. Can't win them all. So with that, I'd say this interview has reached its conclusion. Thank you for your cooperation. You two gave each other alibis for the entire day, so you're not considered the suspects. What are you going to do now? Well, annoyingly, the shot went straight through the poor guy's brain. Can't seem to find the bullet, so figuring what type of gun did this will be. Difficult, to say the least. As such, our first step will be figuring out whether or not this actually was a murder. And considering the conditions, suicide is just as likely. You don't need to worry about yourself about that. You'll find everything out in due time. I mean, once it's all wrapped up? Ideally, yes. And if things go less than ideally? I guess I'd have to accuse you of not giving me enough credit here. I'm sure I'll manage to figure it out. Right. Of course. Shelley the Killer. There's not much that hasn't been said about the man at this point. A master assassin that values loyalty and trust above all else. Still at large, due to the fact that he hides his identity well. Facial surgery goes a long way these days, after all. So that he'll take any job, provided that clients follow simple rules. Or rather, just one. Don't cross him. The ultimate benefit of having an assassin is discretion. Naturally, an assassin has the right to ask the same of his client. Fail in that respect, and, well, there are stories. None of them with a happy ending. It's funny, though. Someone that would do anything to preserve the honor and dignity of the killer name. So little is known about him aside from the rumors. It's at the point where many doubt he's even real. But I know he exists. I remember. I would ask if there was something on your mind, but I suppose the answer is obvious enough. Honestly, I don't think we should bother ourselves with this business. Oh? We're just supposed to pretend nothing happened? No, but it might be better to leave it all to the police now. You know, what normal people would do. I can't just let this go, can I? Like a dog chasing after a car. Alright then, let's think about this. Won't bother going through the facts for the 50th time. After so much questioning, I think I at least have that right. Have those right. Got a bunch of puzzle pieces to work with. At this point, it's not about finding any more, it's about putting them together. I'm going to look into this. I need to have a general direction in mind. I shouldn't bother with trying to answer any questions regarding that letter. I don't have anything to work with in that regard. For now, just a rough idea of what happened will do. A specific order of events would be the best case scenario, but let's just take it slow for now, shall we? Detective Wright has the right idea on where to start. Considering the state of the scene, there are two possible conclusions to draw. Either Sternwood killed himself, or someone did it for him. There are things that point to and against both conclusions. But which one is the truth? Murder or suicide? Well, this is definitely murder. Murder is the only thing that makes any sense here. That has to be it. But, putting the who or why aside for now, the real question is, how? After doing the deed, how did the culprit leave the room? After all, considering this piece of information, it would have been pretty difficult. The key that I found on the body. It's the key to the office, which there's a pretty good chance that it is, by the by. How would the killer have left? The door was locked after all. Then again, even if it's the key to the room, there's nothing proving it's the only one to it. So I don't even know for sure if this is the key to the office anyway. So I guess that would solve that. To killing Sternwood, all the killer had to do was leave. The killer. This is the part where I would usually ask myself something like, who could they be? In the end, though, I know the answer, don't I? It's obviously Shelley the Killer. Never thought I'd actually get tangled up in something he's involved in ever again. Destiny really likes to screw with me, doesn't it? Oh well. I'm not going to complain. As long as I get a chance to catch him. I mean, yeah, it's wishful thinking, but wait. Shouldn't get ahead of myself. I hate to say it, but there's also one other possibility. The real killer could have left that card to be found, so blame could be placed on the killer. The chance for it is shockingly small, but is it possible that? No way! What the hell's wrong with me? Of course it was him! It had to have been. There are no two ways about it. Shelley the Killer. This was your work. Maybe this is really when he'll get his just desserts? And maybe this is when I finally get some answers for what happened that day. Maybe. Hey, big bro. Jeez. I told you don't have to call me that. That's why I'll keep using it. Of course. Why am I not surprised? So what's up? So, I heard you're leaving soon. Yeah. Next Monday. So, you're cured? In a sense, I guess. Why are you still wearing those bandages if you're cured? Not all things can be cured. What'd you say? Nothing. Really, I wasn't actually here because of the bandages. Well, that's what they told me, at least. Eh? But that's not what you said when... Well, I thought I was here because of them, but... Turns out I was a bit mistaken. And now they have no choice but to let me go. Oh, I don't get it. Sorry. I'm not the greatest with words, you know? That's because you don't have a mouth. I don't? How am I talking to you now, then? I don't know. Magic? Right. How could you be bad with words? I heard the doctors say that all lawyers are good with words. That's... I'm not really experienced at the moment. Still have a lot to learn. You're too old for school. Hey, my hair still ain't gray. You're taller than me, though. So? Well, anyone taller than me is older than me. And I'm pretty old myself. If that makes me an old fart? Well, almost. You're definitely a fart, though. Yeah. Thanks, kid. Always got your back, big bro. So who is this kid? I'm gonna miss you. I'll miss you too. Are you gonna find out further down the line on this path? This is a nice little scene. I like that music. What a weird dream. Yet it's one of the best ones I've had in a while. Huh. Honestly, considering the killer's involvement, I was sure I was in for a never-ending nightmare. Maybe Christoph was right. Actually, going home to sleep helps. I'm not going to be able to fall asleep anymore, will I? Well, might as well start planning for tomorrow, then. Something slipped under my door. A note? There's an address written here. It's a warehouse, near the docks. Something's written underneath it. If you want to find him, you must only look in the right place. After all, if you want to find a shell, why look in the sewers? Love, A. A? Well then. This is interesting. Who's A? So let me get this straight. You want to actively assist an investigation into the killer? Essentially, yes. I know he's your main suspect. I should even consider your offer because I was involved in one of his cases. After the incident, I'd spent a lot of time trying to look into him. I know quite a bit about the way he acts and thinks. Yes, so much so that you didn't even recognize what that card was. Touché, Mr. Wright. And what exactly should stop me from looking into all the information I need myself? I can't imagine you had a source other than the police. Unless you're the killer himself. Then it's been a bit of a different story. But for now, though, you'll need my help. The only one who needs anything here is clearly you. I understand where you're coming from. Really, I do. What you say he did to you? Well, it's certainly something. You deserve revenge. But trying to nose into every little thing can only lead to disruptions. Do you even have any leads on him? Heh, do you? Nobody's ever managed to catch him, you know? And I might just be the first. Maybe you won't. Well, then I guess the case ends when he dies. Nobody lives forever, you know? And until then, you intend to let him go on killing? You're not getting on my good side here, Mr. Justice. The fact that you're implying that we're just sitting on our asses doing nothing is... Right. I'm sorry. If there's a way to catch him, we just have to work together. Again, I appreciate the offer, but that way is letting the police do their job. It's exactly what I want to see done. I just want to be there when it happens. Here. What's this? A possible lead on where he's hiding out. What? Where did you get this? Explaining how I got it probably wouldn't seem convincing, so... Huh. Police sources aren't the only thing I can use, you know. So do we have a deal? The location in exchange for me working for you? Oh. Considering you already handed it to me, I could just as well refuse. And I can just as well get there myself. You can't really stop me. I'll be putting myself in far less danger if we can work together. There really is no going against you lawyer types, is there? Nope. Fine, you win. We'll go investigate this place together, then. No point in wasting massive police power on an unconfirmed lead, after all. But you do exactly as I tell you to. Deal. Good. Now, let's go. We'll have to make a short stop on our way over there. Need to look into something. Oh? What are we looking into? Wonderley! Where's this? Amelia Wonderley's home. This is where she was found dead. As your luck would have it, I'm actually the detective in charge of her death as well. Assignments these days work mostly on a first-come, first-served basis, I guess. Heh. Concerning all those files on your desk, you must come first a lot. The letter you showed me yesterday brings some interesting questions. Amelia Wonderley died... Our letter is signed A. Which the only A in our character list is Amelia. I don't know why she'd be slipping that under our door or what the hell's going on there, but... brings the verdict of suicide into question. And that forms a connection between these two cases. Then there could be a connection to the killer, too. My thoughts as well. Especially considering the new facts that have come to light. The toxicology report on Sternwood's body showed what we expected to find, but... a second examination of the body did turn something up. Wounds. And a strange mark around her neck. Wait, did that say Sternwood, or... You think someone held her down and forced her to... That's my best guess, yeah. We have heard this information before. There's no doubt about it, then. Amelia Wonderly was definitely murdered. It's starting to look like that, yeah. The question is, who? The only suspect in mind is Wonderly's boyfriend, whom I can't even confirm exists. What kind of help is I think he's older, honestly? One step forward, two steps back. There's not a whole lot of leads to work with here, unfortunately. Doesn't mean there aren't any to find. I agree. What better first step in the search than talking with Wonderly's roommate? Only... it doesn't look like she's home. Should we come back later then? Guess so. Oh, that actually reminds me. About the letter. I did the analysis as I said I would. Results were interesting. Obviously no fingerprints aside from yours and Mr. Gavin's. It's the fact that this thing was typed that caught my attention. Thing is... well, the font on the envelope and the letter might appear to be the same. It's not. They are typed out on two completely different typewriters. That's... interesting. What does it mean, though? I don't know, but here's what I can tell you. There was a typewriter in Sternwood's office. I can easily tell you it wasn't used to type out anything on this letter. Does that mean Sternwood isn't the one who wrote it? To be fair, I was skeptical since the beginning. If you were going to predict a murder, would you leave your return address on there? Here we are. Finally. It's amazing how much a wrong turn can delay an investigation. Traffic's a hell of a thing, especially on weekends. Let's not waste any more time. If you're right, I'd rather not give the killer a chance to just pack up and leave. Here's this ominous place again. Pretty quiet. It was until you spoke. Keep quiet before you get us both killed. Well, geez, fine. It's quite obvious this place isn't nearly as abandoned as it looks. Someone was definitely here. Recently, too. There's a light over there. I could have sworn we did both. We lied like a dog and told the truth when we tried to go down this route earlier. In both cases, we wound up with the body bag and Phoenix Wright leaving early. To the unlocked story route, just getting that note under our door and then catching Wright in the station before he leaves to go himself. Keep back. I'd rather you not get shot. Got it. This is certainly what we needed to advance the story here. Quite obvious that Detective Wright is actually good at his job, for the most part. This is... it's a base of some kind. Not just anyone's base. Look, there's a whole stack of them. These are the real thing, too. My god, we hit the jackpot. Computers, recording devices, passports, weapons. Everything's here. I don't believe it. Not just that. There are photos here, too. Here's Sternwood. Then there's... you! And here's one of... Kristoff? Look over here. What the hell? There's one of me here? A whole bunch of them, too. But why would the killer? Let's not focus too much on that for now. For now, just take a look around. Calm head. Right. Calm head. What the hell's going on here? Why would the killer have my photos here? I thought it was established Clavier was his victim that day. If he wasn't, then he would have just come for me again, wouldn't he? I got something over here. Second audio recording. Play it. Click. Please, Mr. Killer, you have to help me. Can't do this anymore. Every day it just keeps getting worse and worse. I tried as hard as I could. I've done it for years. But I can't. It's reached a point where I feel physically sick just seeing her. Amelia Wonderley. Talking about Helen. Being happy. Why? Why does she get to do that after everything she... What? Maybe it's off. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm sorry. I don't have the money at the moment, but I'll find a way to pay you. I swear I will. Please, just... Will you... Seeing her be happy after everything she's done. Yeah, that's what flipped that scenario around for me. Helen, now. Will you please kill Amelia Wonderley for me? That's all I want. Please. Please. Huh, there's no point, is there? You're not going to take it, are you? And I guess I have no choice. I'll have to do this myself. Click. Oh. What the hell was that? Looks like someone was trying to get the killer to kill Amelia Wonderley. And failed by all appearances. That voice. I feel like I've heard it before at some point. Anyway, better not just stand around here. We gotta get out of here. You go somewhere safe and I'll call for backup. If the killer finds out you were here, I could become his next target. I know. Meet at the station tomorrow. Got it? I got it. The case is slowly unraveling, but how will all this end? Wright heard it before because he's obviously paid Helen Nell a visit before. Hey, big bro? Oh no. You okay? I'm fine. Just a bit tense, that's all. What's up? You don't look so good yourself. Oh no, I'm good. I just have a question. Okay, sure. Shoot. When is it okay to kill? When is it okay to kill someone? What do you mean? It's never good to kill someone. But what if you really have to? Well, I mean, that person is trying to kill you, then I guess it'd be okay. Only then? I guess. Then again, it all comes down to the situation itself. Sometimes it's just unavoidable, or even an accident. It just sort of happens, maybe. I don't know, to be honest. Haven't tried talking with a lot of murderers yet to get their input. I see. Is that all? Sorry, kid. I got a bit of a headache. I think I'm gonna lie down for a bit, okay? Oh, right. Sorry. Don't mention it. Or think about it too much. Got it, big bro. That was ominous. Slept well? It's insane to imply I slept at all, you know. True enough. What do you got? Well, for one, you finished a search of Sternwood's office. And? Found a stack of letters. Love letters. From Amelia Wonderley. What? That's a bit weird. Are you saying Sternwood was Wonderley's older boyfriend or something? I'm skeptical, to be honest. It's far too convenient, if you ask me. Besides, in the letters, Wonderley never once addresses the receiver by name. You think they were planted? Possible. But again, by who, I don't know. Could be the killer. The next logical step is, who would want him to plant something like that there? Next step is a rather big one. I solved Miss Wonderlay's case. You have? Voice on that recording. I know where I've heard it before. Oh? Helen, no. What is the meaning of this? You barged into my home and accused me of wanting Amelia Amy dead? That's... There's no use denying it at this point, Miss Nell. The jig is up. We have the recording of you trying to hire to kill her for you. When that didn't work, you decided to take matters into your own hands. Amelia Wonderlay's death was not a suicide. We have more than enough proof at this point backing that up as well. There were clear signs of struggle on the body. Excuse me, but it wasn't even in town when she died. Miss Nell, if that were the case, we wouldn't be having this conversation right now. We got into contact with the hotel you were staying at. I was expected they couldn't confirm your alibi. So, what hotel keeps track of when people are going in and out? My point is simply that you have nobody to confirm your alibi for you. Don't worry, actual proof is coming up. On a hunch, I looked through the database and found something interesting. The night of the murder, your car got a parking ticket. Just a few blocks from here. Funny how you managed to be in two places at the same time, isn't it? It's over, Miss Nell. The night of the murder, you drove back here and killed your roommate. You forced her to swallow each and every one of those pills. Then you watched her die. That is the simple truth of the matter. No! No, you've got it wrong. All wrong, I didn't. I would have never. And care to explain all these lies, Miss Nell? There's no point, is there? Anything would just make it all worse at this point. I think it's bad enough if you ask me. So, you admit it? The one who killed Amelia Wonderlay was you? It was. I admit it. It's exactly as you said. Huh. I thought hiding that parking ticket would be enough. Stupid. So stupid. Admittedly, yeah. Kinda. I was never really much of a planner, you know? At the time, the vacation thing seemed like a good idea, but... really, it was a risk. Anyone had seen my car in town that night. The outcome wouldn't be any different than it was now. This was never going to work. Hindsight is always 20/20, I suppose. You're shockingly calm. You said you have a recording? If you really listen to it, then it isn't hard to see how desperate I was. I didn't want to hire to kill her because I couldn't do it myself. I wanted to kill her exactly because I could. Eh? Killing Amelia started creeping into my mind years ago. Really, I'm shocked I managed to last this long. But these last few months completely consumed me. Couldn't function. Couldn't even look at her without feeling sick. You hated her that much? More than anything else in the entire world. Why? Debts, probably. Wonderlay had a lot of them. Her lifestyle was destroying her and those around her. Having to shoulder someone else's mistakes. Well, it gets to even the best of us. I guess you could say that was a part of it. Huh. She really was a selfish little bitch, wasn't she? But no, that's not why I killed her. Now we're finally getting back to the case at the start of the game. Huh? You know, Mr. Wright, it took me a while to recognize you. When I did, I realized that maybe there was such a thing as destiny. Huh? Have we met before? Not directly, no. I believe you were familiar with Amelia, though. Mr. Wright? I see. That's what this is really about. Alexander. You'd ruled his death an accident, but I'd heard you, Mr. Wright. You didn't see me, but I heard you. You know that other detective talking. The brakes were cut. Someone had killed my brother. There was no solid evidence of that. Nor was there any evidence pointing to a suspect. But you knew, didn't you? You had to have had some idea. She and Alex had been seeing each other for a while. Alex told me he was going to break it off soon. I felt bad for her, so I told her. That was right before we'd taken that vacation. What on earth are they talking about? I'm sorry. There was nothing we could do. That's a lie. Believe what you want, then. I honestly don't care. I'm sorry for your loss. That won't bring him back. Neither did this, did it? Fair. There's a difference between revenge and justice. Revenge is nothing but a mad dog chasing its own tail. Justice is being willing to put trust into the law and the people dedicated to seeing it through. In that case, justice for me was already long gone. Yeah, I know. Thing is, some dogs are satisfied chasing their tail. Others are frustrated because it's a need. A need they have to satisfy, even though they know it's completely futile. Like me, chasing Shelly to kill her. Only possible comfort in injustice is revenge. And even that is impossible to some. Yet they're willing to go through with it anyway. In any case, I have one more question. It's regarding this letter. Letter? In it, Miss Wonderly's death was predicted down to the day. It also correctly stated that her death would be a murder. By my logic, that could only be done by the person intending to commit the crime. Sorry, I have no idea what you're talking about. Although, he might have had something to do with that. Who? The killer? Did the killer send the letter? After the police had found the body and done their investigation, I was scared. So I called the only person I felt I could turn to. Amelia's boyfriend. Oh! The one who's older than her? That would be the one. Who is he? Could it be Sternwood after all? Could it be Gavin? Ah, he's a lawyer. Okay. Definitely not Sternwood. I told him the truth. You told him you killed his girlfriend? That can't have gone over well. He's a lot more understanding than you might imagine. Amelia had caused quite a bit of trouble for him as well. Once the loan shark stopped falling for that pretty face of hers, she turned to other means. That sounds low. Congratulations, you've just learned what kind of person she was. Unlike you, her boyfriend understood why I did what I did. He knew that nothing could be undone. He said he felt pity for me, too. So he said he'd help me. He took all the letters he had sent to Amelia during their relationship. He didn't want himself being dragged into it all, apparently. And yes, I said letters. He's quite old-fashioned. That's why you didn't find out who he was. The mention of letters is ringing a lot of bells here. Because there was a possibility that Amelia had told someone else about her having a boyfriend. He told me to admit to knowing she had a boyfriend, but to say I didn't know who he was. It would have been suspicious if her so-called best friend didn't know anything about him. I see. What did he do then? I don't know. He called me 2 days ago and told me that everything was taken care of. What he meant by that, I haven't a clue. That's why I can only guess the letter you were talking about was probably his doing. It's looking back along the lines. Looking back along the lines that that everything we learned in the 2 separate routes was true. Kristoff was the boyfriend. The letters in Sternwood's place were planted. Helen killed Amelia. Helen and Kristoff were in contact after the murder. Kristoff sent himself the letter. Kristoff killed Sternwood, planted the letters, made it look like a suicide, and wanted to push the fact that Sternwood sent the letter, included his return address, to cover it all up. Make it look like a suicide, like a murder-suicide. Damn. It's looking like all of that's coming together after all. There's still some questions. The card and the gun showing up at his place. Okay. Probably his doing. I see. I'm going to have to ask for his name. I understand. His name is... Kristoff Gavin? Not Kristoff Gavin? I don't believe this. How? Why? Of all the people in the world, how? I see. Another piece fits into place. Huh? While searching the office, there's one more thing we found. A case file. Turns out a week ago or so, our man hired Sternwood to look into something for him. I see. Of course he had. Does it say what he wanted? Not that I could see, no. The entire case file is pretty much made up of a single note. One Sternwood made, I imagine. Trace the origin of the thing. Report back. Don't know what it could refer to. But I do. The thing. Oh, hi, Kristoff. It's me. Oh! Justice, there you are. I've been trying to reach you all day. Where have you been? Hello, Mr. Gavin. How you doing? Detective Wright. This is, a surprise? Should have said you were bringing a guest, Justice. What brings you here? Mr. Gavin, I have a few questions for you regarding Miss Amelia Wonderley. Wonderley? The woman from the letter. Why are you playing dumb, you idiot? Can't you see that we're here for a reason? Can't you tell that we figured everything out? Does this have anything to do with Mr. Sternwood? In a sense, I suppose. In a sense. Mr. Gavin. Wait. Let me handle this. Kristoff. You know why we're here, don't you? I've never held you for a stupid man. I don't intend to start now. You can tell us the truth, and you can listen to the things you already know. It's your choice. I have no idea what you're talking about, Justice. I'm afraid I'm more than a little confused here. I guess that would have been too much to ask for, huh? You know, after 15 years of knowing each other, you're still a shit liar. Oh, is that so? It's over, Kristoff. We have the high ground. We know everything. We know you're, well, were Amelia Wonderly's boyfriend. Don't try to deny it. Nell kept a photo of the two of you all to herself. She's willing to testify on it as well. It's hard thinking about it, you know. That day when you showed me that letter, you were lying through your teeth. Wonderly wasn't just a bizarre name in an equally bizarre letter. You tricked me. You dragged yourself into a mess you didn't have to be in. And now, it's too late. You've gone too far. Helen Nell killed your girlfriend, and she confessed to you. And what did you do? Instead of calling the police, telling the truth, you decided to cover it up because she'd taken a few pennies off of you. A few pennies? Good. Your reaction tells me I'm on the right track here. Your first step, as Nell herself told us, was to cover up your involvement. You took all the letters you'd sent to Wonderly while you were dating. I imagine you were quite determined to keep your reputation all nice and cozy and safe. You're making quite a few assumptions here, you know. I'm not. This is what you did. I have proof to back it up. What I don't have proof of is the thing that started it all. The original letter. The one that led us to Sternwood to begin with. You'd received it a week before Wonderly's death. Got the date of the murder down to the exact day. Strange coincidence, right? The question now is, who'd written it? And see, I think I have an answer for that. Oh boy. Sternwood, the killer, or Kristoff? I don't know. Had to pause for a water break, doing a lot of reading. I think we're going to stick with the facts that we know so far and say Kristoff. As obvious as it might seem, I don't think that's the case. With the evidence I have, Kristoff had actually found out about the actual murder. Oh, after Nell had pulled it off. So she's not lying. Aside from the letter, Kristoff had nothing to do with this. Besides, Kristoff had a plan to see Wonderly dead from the start. Why even send a letter to himself? Just to show me? Doesn't really add up. There's someone else I had in mind. Original letter. Oh! Sorry, we're actually reading text. Received it a week before the murder. Got the date of the murder down to the exact day. Strange coincidence, right? Now, who'd written it? See, I think I have an answer in mind. So not Kristoff. Not Sternwood. So it has to be the killer. Whoever had written it must have had knowledge that Wonderly's murder was about to take place. That would usually suggest the murderer herself, but Nell denies writing it. It should leave us with no suspects. However, just before going through with the murder itself, Nell tried an alternative. Let me show you. The tape recorder? She attempted to hire Shelley the killer to do her work for her. He refused, since she apparently lacked the funds to do so. It's all right here. The recording she'd made to try and convince the killer. It's actually something the killer had recorded without her knowledge, but I'd rather Kristoff didn't know we found the killer's hideout. Wait. Are you saying that Shelley the killer, the notorious assassin, was the one to warn me about Amelia's death? He wrote that letter? It's the only possibility. Chances are he could have predicted the date based on Nell's request. She probably asked him to kill her on the 21st, since she would be on vacation then, giving her a nice alibi. That's a stretch. Why would an assassin be interested in warning someone about what a denied client was about to do? That, I admit, I don't know. It was right that suggested the idea. It just seems the most logical to me. but it's the only possible explanation. Of course, now that we know about you and Wonderley, it's quite easy to see why you didn't do anything about it. Could have just been a threat against you. Considering the amount of those we get on a daily basis, you probably paid it no mind. Of course, count the fact that the relationship itself was obviously strained, and hold on there. Let us suppose for a moment that what you're saying is correct. No problems there. You're forgetting the most important bit from that letter. The return address. It's to Sternwood's office, isn't it? Assuming you're just going to ignore that as proof Sternwood sent it. Why would the killer have included that little detail? Draw attention to his own crime? Confuse everyone? Or because he didn't? Yeah, I think we're getting there. I think it makes a good point that Christoph didn't make sense for Christoph to write the letter himself. I mean, I feel like we could still make the excuse that Christoph just backdated it and could have just lied about receiving the letter so long ago. Just pull it out and say, hey, I got this a week ago, totally. Just including the whole Sternwood return address thing to set up the whole warning suicide thing. Still a flimsy cover, but in theory could have done that, but well, obviously we know now that they're two different typewriters. That's right. That action makes absolutely no sense for him to make. Which is exactly why he didn't do it. Now you're making assumptions. No, Christoph, I'm not. I can prove that there's a high chance that whoever wrote the letter didn't put Sternwood's name as its return address. That's just the letter itself. Our friend over there, Detective Wright, did some looking into this letter, you know? See, as it turns out, the text in the letter and the text on the envelope were written with two completely different typewriters, which would strongly suggest that they were typed by two different people. That's not exactly proof. So it's far more likely someone just decided to use two typewriters? They're not exactly that common these days, you know? Really, only people over 40 use them. And I'm not over 40 yet, so I'm not going to use a typewriter. See, I have a better idea of what happened. First, the letter was typed and sent to its destination by the killer. Then later, someone took it and put it in a new envelope. One they'd typed themselves. One with Sternwood's return address on it. Obviously, that someone is Christoph, Helen, or me. I mean, I want to say me just for the hell of it. Screw you too. Thanks for everything, but you do realize there's only one right path for this, right? You don't get to hold me on a leash any— Whoa! I'm making my own destiny now. Whoa! So come on. We both know you want to see this through to the end. Wow. Calling me out for picking all the... Alright, we won't hold you on the leash anymore. You decide. It's you. It could have only been you, really. The letter was with you ever since it arrived. The real question now would be, why? Why put Sternwood's return address on this letter? Just 'cause. You wanted to frame Sternwood. Wasn't it obvious? Putting the return address on there, you wanted to make it look like as if he'd sent it. Which would have implied that he'd written it. Which would have implied that he knew Wonderley would die. Which would have implied that he was involved with the crime, if not the murderer himself. In short, you wanted to use him as a scapegoat. You wanted someone the police could see as a strong suspect. Hopefully stronger than Miss Nell. In fact, I can very easily prove that you wanted to make it look like he was involved with Wonderley. Letters. These love letters were found hidden in Sternwood's office. They were written by Amelia, wonder they? Under normal circumstances, they would imply a relationship between the two. But these letters, they're from Amelia to you, aren't they? You planted them there to stir the pot and throw more dirt onto Sternwood's name. There's no doubt about it. You definitely wanted to frame him for Nell's crime. Now the question becomes, when? When could you have done this? When could you have been able to access Sternwood's office and put these? From what Detective Wright told me, they were hidden behind some case files. So when would you have been able to do this? Well, we got 4 choices now. Before Sternwood's death, after Sternwood's death, but before arriving with me. We'll go with the option that seems consistent. It had to have been sometime after Sternwood's death, before you arrived with me. Now hold on. Are you going to accuse me of killing Sternwood then? Don't worry. I know you didn't kill him. The killer's calling card on the scene proves that he was the one behind this. The killer? That was his work? Yes. Now if I had to guess, you arrived sometime after Sternwood had already been murdered by the killer. It was all a stroke of luck. The reason you arrived was because you'd hired Sternwood to look into something for you. If I had to guess, it was this, right? Because the prediction had come true. And Nell probably told you she wasn't the one who sent it. You wanted to track down the person that knew that Wonderlay would die in advance. Oh, that's why you were there, isn't it? The thing. Came up with your plan quickly and on the spot. In fact, I'm willing to say that's when you decided to do the whole plan with the letter. Oh my, how gracious of you to spare me the accusation of being a murderer. Just own up to the truth already, Kristoff. If you're going to accuse me of all this insanity, I might as well have been the killer's client. Why not? Because they don't make any sense. The rest of your actions that day, I mean. What? As I was saying, you decided to take advantage of the scene at hand. First you planned the letters, then you switched the envelope of the killer's letter. You then woke me up and pretended as if you'd been in the office all day. You wanted to take me to Sternwood's, get yourself a witness. Now comes the part that seemed the hardest for me, but was, in actuality, the simplest. The locked room. Detective Wright eventually told me that the key found in Sternwood's pocket was indeed the only key to the office. So the question was this. After killing Sternwood, how had the killer managed to leave the locked room? What trick could he have used? In the end, though, it was obvious, wasn't it? He hadn't done a thing. It was all you. Before you left the first time, you locked the door from the outside with a key. Then when you came in with me, you broke it down. Approached the body, attempting to check if he was alive, and planted the key on his body. Why would I have done all of that? I don't actually know. My guess is that you were trying to confuse the issue as much as you could. At the beginning, it was hard to determine if this was murder or suicide. On one hand, the murderer couldn't have gotten out of the locked room, and on the other, Sternwood couldn't have killed himself without a gun. The police couldn't decide between murder and suicide. If Nell had been brought to trial, he could have claimed that Sternwood was the culprit, that he'd killed himself in a fit of lover's guilt or something of the sort. But according to you, the killer's card was right there. Surely suicide would have been ruled out immediately. If I had seen it at the time, I would have known what it meant and taken it, if nothing else. No, you wouldn't have. Because while everyone knows that the killer has a calling card, only actual police officials know what it looks like. I found out what it meant by pure coincidence. Oh. That explains the whole confusion. Really, you practically admitted to not knowing what it meant. Suggesting that you'd killed Sternwood before suggesting that you were the killer's client. Yeah? You had no clue he was involved in any of this. With this, everything is solved. Slight nitpick, the music loop was way out of proportion with the actual amount of dialogue in that scene. I think it looped literally about 150,000 times in that scene, but the scene was still pretty darn good. You haven't killed anyone, but you've lied far too much. You can't. Before you suggest I have no proof of any of this, common sense will let this prevail in court. We have way more than enough circumstantial evidence against you at this point. It's over, Kristoff. I have the high ground. You're wrong. Huh? Really? Are you seriously just going to deny all of this? Well, it would certainly be within my rights. What I'm actually trying to say is that you made a bit of a mistake there. I'll admit to most of it, except the part that insults my intelligence. Wait, you admit it? For real? I did not create that locked room to confuse the issue. I created it specifically to make it look like Sternwood had committed suicide. Well, you obviously failed. Well, you may not have known about the meaning of the killer card. You had to have realized it couldn't have looked like a suicide without the gun, right? Ah, that's just the thing. Never mind, you wouldn't believe me anyways. In any case, yes, you are correct on all other counts, including the one on foolishness. There really was no point in hiding any of this. Amelia and I hadn't been seeing eye to eye on a lot of things. It's as you said. I wasn't particularly concerned when I received that letter. But she died, though. I did feel guilty. I'd met Sternwood on a past case. He was quite the name back in his day. So I turned to him to trace the origin of the letter. The reasoning was that whoever had sent it had to have been the culprit. So you can imagine my surprise when just a few days afterwards Helen called me. Admitting to the damn murder, no less. From what she told us, you took it well. As best I could, really. She demanded my help. The plan was completely ridiculous. Yours wasn't exactly any better, you know. Sorry, I'm not a criminal mastermind. I did the best I could. I went back to Sternwood to see what progress he was making, only to find him dead. And that's when you came up with all of this. Ah, yes. I take no pride in this, Justice. Deep down I knew I would be caught, much like Helen knew she would be as well. Why do all of this, then? We all have our compulsions, Justice. The reason that I chose to put on this badge is because I needed to make up for my mistakes. And I've made a lot of them in the past. I know that no matter what I do, they will never go away. Which means that I might as well dedicate my life to pointless causes. Which, I'm sure you'll agree, this plan was. Kristoff. You goddamn moron! You're not a bad guy after all. It didn't have to be this way. I didn't want to do this to you. And yet at the same time, you knew you had to. You knew it was your duty. Your role. To quote Shakespeare. Yeah, all the world's a stage. Doesn't make this any better. I know. But being a lawyer generally tends to leave a bittersweet taste in one's mouth. I'm sorry I had to come to this. As am I. You're a good friend, Kristoff. I'll never forget all you've done for me. Oh? We're still friends, aren't we? Of course we are, you idiot. One mistake doesn't make you a bad person. That's a big swing from the route when we went down and accused him of murder. I appreciate that, Justice. Come on, it's not like you'll go on to prison forever. Don't be so dramatic. A bit too late for that, I'd say. Well, Mr. Gavin, you know what happens now, don't you? You better visit. As if I wouldn't. Well, guess it's finally over. Kakuyama Station. Not that it really lasted long enough for me to say finally, but damn. Still can't get over how much of an idiot you were, Kristoff. All the things you could have gotten yourself involved in. Aw, you okay there, sir? You look a bit sad. Considering my face is covered in bandages, I'm not sure exactly how you can tell that. The eye, sir. The eye gives it all away. Sure, yeah. Not to sound rude, but do you need something? Geez, it's almost as if you never had a pretty girl walk up to you before. Ah. Sorry. Been kind of a long day, that's all. So, you are sad. Having a tough day doesn't mean I have to be sad, you know? Geez, I'm just trying to be polite. The most polite thing you can ever do for a person you can tell isn't in the mood to talk is to not talk. Whoa, you're really a hard ass, you know that? So be it. Oh, sorry. I need to take this convenient phone call. Beep. Justice. Hey, it's me. I really want to know what Trucy's involvement is in all of this. Who is she in the scope of this story? She obviously knows right, and she obviously knows us somehow. Emma? Well, this is out of the blue. Listen, I'm on my way home, currently at the station. I don't think I'll have time to pick up groceries or anything. Apollo, listen to me. Something's happened. What? Eh? It's Kristoff. We were about to go interrogate him to get an official statement and confession, but when he got to his cell... Oh... What? Fuck. Emma, what is it? He's dead, Apollo. Shit. What? He was dead by the time we found him. Murder by the looks of it. Murder? No, that's... You have to be kidding. Afraid this isn't a joke. And there's more. There's something next to his body. Oh, no. No. Please don't tell me. It was the killer's calling card. Completely forgotten. Kristoff's photo was in the killer's base. No! Oh no, how could I have been so stupid? Apollo? Apollo, can you hear me? Beep. You okay there, pal? I have to get down there. You said murder, right? I'm sorry, I really can't do this right now. Don't worry, sir. I got you. I got your back. You're obviously into some heavy stuff. It'll be irresponsible of me to let you go alone. Here, take this. What? Whoa, that's a gun! Shh, just take it. It's on the house. I'd rather not have to carry this around. We got a gun now. Eh? Where'd she go? She seriously give me a freaking gun. It feels heavy enough to be the real thing. Bullets look real too. Can't just go around carrying this. My photo was in that base. So maybe I should hold on to this. Right. Let's just get to the police station. What the hell's gonna happen now? Thinking time? I don't believe it. Kristoff's dead. I'd spoken to him just a few hours ago. Everything was okay. We spoke. He was alive. I'd said I would visit him. How could this have... The killer. You'll pay for this, you son of a bitch. You've taken far too much from me. How? How the hell did you even get into the police station? Well, logically, he had to have disguised himself as a police officer. There's no other way he could have gone in undetected. Wait. We're not necessarily a police officer. Something's been really strange since the beginning of all this. There's been this creeping feeling in my gut that something's off. And now, I think I'm starting to see. There's been a person here that's made a very strange decision recently. Something that it would have logically never done. Something extremely suspicious. What? It's someone who has been here from the start. Someone who would have had the perfect opportunity to kill Kristoff. What? It's a stretch, but thinking about it, back then, they definitely did something strange. Could it be? Could it be that the person that killed Kristoff was... I would have expected this place to be surrounded by police cars. Yet there's nobody here. Almost as if the police know nothing about it. I'm gonna leave it to the reveal to figure out who this is. I assume I got it right since it didn't object. My head hurts. I feel stupid for coming alone. Then again, we're all tied down by our compulsions. Role to play. Yeah. At this point, I think I know what mine is. Over there. Is that? Body bag. I already know who's in there. What? But just to be sure, I suppose. Yep. It's him, alright. Phoenix Wright. Cause of death looks to be a single shot to the head. He's cold. Too cold. Someone's been keeping him in a freezer, if I had to guess. Considering he's practically frozen solid. That's a detail we didn't get before. I would say it's been more than just a week at this point. What are you doing here, Mr. Justice? Following the breadcrumb trail you've left behind for me. Phoenix Wright. Or rather... Shelley the Killer? Ah! Oi, oi! Aren't you overreacting a bit here? I mean, pulling out a gun. Is that really necessary? We both know you can't exactly take me on. I've got 7 bullets. 1 lucky shot is all I need. Kid, you won't even get to pull the trigger. You only make it this harder on yourself, really. Shut up! Do you want to end up like him? I'm not putting the gun down. So be it. Shall we at least talk before the messy part starts? How did you figure it out? Back then, when we first came to this place. 1. Is the fact that you were willing to instantly look into a completely sudden lead. 2. You let me tag along, despite the threat, despite that there was the real danger of the killer being there. 3. You didn't call for actual backup of any kind. Confirmed lead or not, this is an international investigation. We shouldn't have been able to just walk off the way we did. At the time, I thought nothing of it. I was just excited to get moving. Looking back on it, you didn't even call for backup on the scene when you confirmed this was the place. You waited until we left. Or specifically, until I left. I honestly doubt that's procedure. Then, there were a few other things. The fact that you just happened to be around the scene of the crime 2 days ago. The fact that you almost instantly found the recording of Nell. The fact that you were the one who suggested that the letter Christoph received was sent by the killer. I see. I'm impressed. Now you answer my questions. Did you kill Christoph in Sternwood? Of course. Did you not see the calling card? Why? Who hired you? Nobody. I acted of my own free will. It insulted my family name, and I had to make them pay. What had they done? That would be telling, wouldn't it? Was Detective Wright one of the people who'd insulted you? He was indeed. Taking his identity was merely coincidence. Ugh, you cold-hearted bastard. Sure. Why did you send that letter to Christoph? Should I tell you my blood type next? Answer the question. Well, answer mine first. Why did you come here alone? I see. Well, the answer to your question is the same, then. I will say that letter had quite a chain reaction. If Christoph had ever gotten it, none of this would have happened. Who knows? He might not have died behind bars. Why did you lead me here? Convenience. I could have you there to witness my finding the hideout, and more importantly, that recording. Once the recording was found, Amelia's case was solved. With Amelia's case solved, Christoph's actions became clear. With Christoph's actions clear, Sternwood's murder was also made clear. And with that, everyone undoubtedly knew that the man who killed him was Shelley the Killer. Exactly. You went through all of that just to make sure people knew that. I wanted to send a message. I wanted to show what happens to people that go against the Killer legacy. There were photos of 4 men back there. 3 of them are dead. I'm the last one. Am I on your hit list? Have I gone against the family name? No. I mean, the fact that you're pointing a gun at me at the moment isn't winning any favors. But no, you have not. You were just a person of interest. Person of interest? You don't even remember me, do you? 15 years ago. Do you remember what you did to me? In my profession, my paths cross with so many people. Why do you think you're special to me? That day changed your life forever 15 years ago, but for me it was just Tuesday. Oh. You also seem to be under the impression I'm obligated to answer any of your questions. I'm not. Really, I'm doing this out of sheer respect. But you are foolish, Mr. Justice. Far, far too foolish. Shut up. What are you gonna do, huh? Shoot? It's only half serious earlier, but do you really think you'll manage to wound me fatally? Especially with a gun that someone involved with me in some capacity gave you. That's under suspicion now as well. Because holy fuck. Do you really think I've never found myself in a situation like this before? Trust me, far more experienced men have tried to pull that trigger. And I'm still here, Mr. Justice. Well then, will it be? Huh. The choice is obvious. The easiest thing to do is... shoot while you're in the middle of a sentence. Whoa. Ugh. Honestly, why do people in the movies never think of that? You got me on a trick? You know, I'd heard an interesting rumor about Shelley the Killer. Namely, that it's not the same guy. It's, after all, unreasonable to expect that a man who started his operation 67 years ago would still be alive today, and in such good health. Not to mention so cocky. Should never build on the reputation of others. Trust me, it's never a good idea. My mentor was a pretty great lawyer, you know? All the while, I've yet to officially even have my first case. Yet people put the two of us in the same category. Funny how that works, right? Is there actually a very old man under that fake face? Either way, it doesn't matter. Oof. Get off of me. It's called putting pressure on a wound. Police and ambulance should be here any minute now. Huh? Sure, it was pretty stupid to barge in alone, but... get off. Did you really think I'd leave the possibility of you escaping open? No can do. No escaping. And no dying. At the end of the day, you're just a man. Not a myth, not a legend, not a grand mastermind. Just flesh and bone. Like we all are. And that's why you pay your dues like the rest of us. Day 4 for the first time. Possibly not the first time, but... Hey, big bro? Once you leave, will we ever meet again? I'm sure we will, kid. When? Dunno. Could be in a few weeks, a few months, or it could even be a few years. That's too much! Well, no guarantees. Life has this thing where it takes us into weird places. But I want to see you again. Tell you what. If we don't happen to cross paths in a while, how about we meet up right here? Right in this room. But when? I don't know. 15 years or something? Oh. Is that the quickest you can do? I guess it is. Wow, that's... But I'm sure we'll be sooner than that, huh? Right. I'm sure we will. What exactly are you hoping to find here? And if I were you, I'd be out celebrating how I nailed Shelley the Killer. Not a single scratch, too. I still can't believe that. I just knew the right time to pull the trigger, that's all. It was still moronic, barging in by yourself. He could have killed you. He most surely would have. Still, I got him. Yeah, you did, tough guy. How does it feel to be a big, burly man-chop now? Average. Good. You're still in the real world. Really, at this point, I'm just hoping you don't turn out to be an international super spy. Hey, no need to worry. If I am, you're totally my Bond girl. Hey now, which movie? Casino Royale. I died that movie! Damn. But, yeah. What exactly are we doing here? Getting closure. The killer killed Kristoff, Wright, and Sternwood because they had gone against the killer name. I want to know what exactly they had done. want to know what ties them together. You could just wait until the killer wakes up and we question him. He really won't gain anything by talking. Especially a man as prideful as that. Now, let's see. I'm hoping that the answer is somewhere in a police investigation. Let's start with Sternwood's records. LY-17? Are we seriously going to go through all of these? No. I don't believe it. Literally, the first file I'd pulled up was LY-17. The incident from 15 years ago. It's almost as if someone just left it here for me to find. Detective in charge, Joseph Sternwood. Defense attorney, Christoph Gavin. Arresting officer, Phoenix Wright. It's right there. All three of them. But is this really the reason the killer would have wanted them all dead? If so, why? Wait. I see. I have an idea. It's really not a good thought, but it's a possibility. We still thinking? LY-17. Every one of the killer's victims seems to be connected to it. The killer was the one behind it. Yet he's never killed anyone that was not a part of his client's request. The only time he went against investigators was when he was caught. Now there's a chance that this really is two different killers at work here, as I suggested. But that guy seemed to follow the general idea pretty well. Insulted the killer family name. What does that mean? Yes. This would make sense. There's quite a lot of ways to dishonor a name. One in particular would be pretty bad. Most families don't delve into murder for hire. And that aspect blinded us from the possibility. But it's exactly because that the killers just delve into this that it was so important. You sort of lost me here, Polly. Never mind. I'll have to look into this myself. Thanks for the help. Oh gee, thanks for dragging me in here, only to tell me that there's nothing to do. Hey, no detective has the final deduction part fully planned out. You're not a detective, Apollo. That's Mr. Apollo to you. Ow, sorry. Whatever, I guess I had some work to do in here. Just for the record, you're not getting any rice tonight. Heh. Yes, my queen. Oh, wait, one more thing. Can't believe I almost forgot. We managed to figure out why the killer would have been so interested in sending that letter. And his interest in Amelia Wonderley in general. You have? Getting him to the hospital, we got his blood sample. Comparing it to the database gave no clue as to the guy's identity, but we got a partial match to someone in the database. Let me guess. Amelia Wonderley. As luck would have it, they were brother and sister? What? Brother and sister? I see. That's why he sent the letter. He was trying to warn someone about what was going to happen. Why not warn Amelia herself? I imagine somebody who's trying to kill you, get the hell out of there, would have done the job. And why send it to Christoph? He was the boyfriend, sure, but he was also one of the people he was intending to kill. I admit that's strange. That's why I'll have to find a way to get some answers. Where? Wakey, wakey, Mr. Killer. Ah, you. Where? Where am I? Hospital. I didn't die. Nope. But considering I just lowered your morphine dose, you might start wishing you had. Crafty. Understood. You're handcuffed. No point in fighting it. I was going to do no such thing. Good. I don't think I'll need any more morphine. Your questions will do more than enough to put me to sleep. What a cliché thing to say. I'm an old-fashioned kind of man, I suppose. What do you want from me, Mr. Justice? I'm not interested in asking the obvious questions. I just want you to confirm something for me. Oh? And what would that be? LY-17. The incident from 15 years ago. The incident in which I was left like this. You weren't the one behind it, were you? There are a lot of ways to hurt a family name. Betrayal, dishonesty, dishonor. But a killer name is prestigious, really. In a sense, your family business. It's a form of art to you, isn't it? Unlike all artists, you take great pride in your work. If someone steals it, it's quite enraging. The great lengths you went through to make sure everyone knew you were behind it. Sternwood's death was more than enough proof. But there's also one more thing. Every good artist hates having his name attributed to someone else's work. Whether that work is good or not is relevant. It's a simple matter of pride, I guess you could call it. You don't hurt those that aren't a part of your client's request. These three men. They appeared to be innocent, but they weren't, were they? They'd framed you for something you hadn't done. Your family. So you figured it out. The reason they did so, I imagine, was on Kristoff's request. He wanted to get me an acquittal, under any means necessary. He did say he had made mistakes. I didn't care why they'd done it. Just wanted honor to be restored to my family record. I looked at the case files. You were one of my initial targets as well. In the end, I decided to start with what was my best bet. Phoenix Wright. See, you never go with the guy in charge. There's a chance this had been done without his knowledge. You always start with the middleman. That's how you do it. Whatever was done in that investigation, he had to have known. And I was right. I confronted him in his home. He was scared out of his mind. He told me all I needed to know. Christoph Gavin and Joseph Sternwood. Then you killed him and stole its identity. I told you it was convenience. My next target was Sternwood. Confronted him in his office that day. He looked... tired. Yeah, that's a good word for it. Almost as if he'd known I was coming for him. I asked him to tell me what he'd done. I said I would spare him. He didn't buy it. I could tell. But he told me something interesting. They weren't just the ones who'd framed my family for that murder and fire. They were the ones who'd done it. What? Well, what? You look shocked. Good. No way. There's no way Christoph would have... Believe it, or don't. That's what the man told me. Why? Why would they have... Well... The mastermind of the whole operation was Clavier Clavier... Wait. He was the victim! Oh, how little you know. The plan was this. You were the witness. Clavier brought you to the scene and knocked you out. In the meantime, the other two got Christoph and brought him to the scene unconscious. It was then that Clavier switched places with Christoph. From what I'm told, they look quite familiar. It wouldn't have been hard. Their DNA was near identical, so there was essentially no way to prove Clavier was Christoph. Did you seriously leave that fucking offhand comment while they were driving home from the detective from the police station about Kristoff's fucking air guitar? Did you really leave that fucking cheesy comment in there at the beginning completely as fucking foreshadowing? You crazy bastard. You would wake up and figure that Clavier was dead. And the killer card would have been left at the scene as well. That was Sternwood's job, to provide it. Apparently Clavier just took his word that would be the right card. He didn't even know what it looked like. Not even during planning did he think to look at it. The insolent bastard. He was lucky Sternwood did his job well, eh? Anyway, Clavier walks away into the night, stealing his brother's identity. Sternwood said something about him wanting to stop Kristoff's corruption. Oh. Also trying to deal with the fact that he had been an objective failure as a prosecutor. Wow. However, they were stupid about it. Wright sprayed way too much gasoline. Some got on you. Well, a lot of it. And once the match was lit, Kristoff wasn't the only thing that went on fire. You, the card they planted, the house, poof! Wright suggested you die. Wright suggested you die then and there, but Clavier fought against that. Since he was the leader, they had no choice but to listen. So they put out the fire on you and stopped you from burning alive. The damage was obviously done. Once the investigation team got on the scene, since the killer card had been burnt, I became the only possible suspect. Clavier apparently felt guilty and decided to take your case as Kristoff. All these years, it had always been Clavier. And that's the truth for you. You know what happens next. Could you return my morphine levels to the way they were? Pretty please. Sure. I'll turn it up a bit. But I still have one more question. Amelia Wonderley, your sister. Well, I suppose it was only a matter of time before you knew. What about her? Why did you send that letter to Kristoff, of all people? Why not just warn her? I did warn her. So why did you send that letter? And why didn't she run? Two different questions, but one long answer. The truth is, the one who had sent that letter wasn't me. It was her. Her reasoning was that she wanted to test Kristoff or something. Oh, no. I don't remember, honestly. She was always a paranoid freak, you know? She could never become a true killer. It's occurred to me that I'm getting almost all of this confession thanks to the drugs. So what? She willingly let herself die? Huh. Unfortunately, she wasn't that dramatic. Nah. You know, the thing about family is, even if they don't carry your name, you still have to help them. They're your blood, after all. So I helped her. And how did you do that? I helped her. Die? I helped her fake her I helped her fake her death. Okay, so new theory forming. The Trucy we kept seeing is actually Amelia Wonderley. Whoa, what? Amelia had gotten the body for us. She didn't tell me where she'd got it, and I didn't ask. The important thing was for them to look just a bit alike. She was the fake Amelia. We destroyed what little photos there were of the real Amelia. Not a hard thing, since Amelia knew how to keep out of the spotlight. It's something Father taught us well. Never go in front of a camera. That night when Nell thought she would pull off her plan, We'd replaced all sleeping pills with... ha! Candy! Amelia got down on the couch and pretended to be asleep. I was hiding in the house, keeping watch if anything went wrong. Then Nell showed up, and we gave her a nice little show. Naturally, Amelia was just fine. Really, looking back on it, I don't even know if Nell would have been able to pull that murder off. She was a complete klutz. Amelia had to make it easy for her. We took the body of the fake Amelia and planted it on the scene. Then just waited. Someone would find the body. I'd show up on the scene first to get the case. That's how it works, didn't I tell you? First come, first serve. You did indeed tell me. After that, I just had to switch the blood sample of the body that took at the mortuary with Amelia's actual blood. And voila! The illusion was complete. I see. From that point on, I knew I could control any and all aspects of the investigation. Nobody cared. Nobody would stop me. The autopsy report, the toxicology, and where's Amelia now? Where? That's a good question. Somewhere. She disguised herself after the whole thing. It's impressive what women can do with some makeup. Better than facial surgery ever could, obviously enough. She mentioned she would just wait for her big bro to show. What? She wasn't talking about me, so I have no idea who she meant. Big bro? As in big brother? Yeah. I see. Thank you for your help. Oh, sure. Hey, looks like the morphine is kicking in. It kicked in immediately. I've just upped the dose. Have a good time in jail. Have a good time in jail. Big bro. That sounds familiar. Well, we're getting this answer now, too. Amelia. The chances of her actually being at that place are extremely low, but the impossible odds seem to have been defied just fine up to this point. So then, are you that Amelia? And is your big brother me? After my injuries, they took me to a hospital. A private one. Christoph, or well, Clavier, paid for it. He really did feel guilty, huh? I was put in a strange ward. Really, the whole thing felt like a hazy dream to me. They gave me a lot of stuff. A lot of therapy. I assumed it was to help me deal with the whole trauma. Christoph had told me I was in a recovery ward, so it made sense. There were also children in the ward. I remember getting along with them pretty well. One of them was a girl named Amelia. She called me Big Bro. Could it be that she's... The place is now abandoned. Shut down about 10 years ago. They'd been cutting corners and getting drugs that were literally worthless. Especially in the psychiatric ward. Which is especially dangerous. Which is, as I was eventually told, the ward I was actually in. According to them, I was just so mentally shattered I didn't understand it. That was when I left and went off working for Christoph. Did Christoph mean to keep you locked up there for good? Before I did, though. We had a foolish commitment. It looks the same. Someone's tidied the place up pretty well. Ah, you're here. Yep, called that one. You actually came. You remembered. Hello, Amelia. Long time no see. You could say that again. I see you've been working quite hard. Indeed I have. It was quite a lot of trouble getting you to this point. Even then I didn't know if it would work. So I've heard. Probably not all of it. First, I find out my roommate is trying to kill me. Get in touch with my brother, who I haven't spoken to in a crazy long time. Then a whole lot of stuff goes down. You mean landing a person who didn't do anything in jail? Then he tells me about this private investigator guy that's crossed the Holy Family name. So I go over to him, that Joseph Sternwood, and what do I find out? My crazy brother had already killed him just an hour or two before I showed up. Whoa, wait. You were there? You bet I was. And just when I was about to leave, what happens? I hear footsteps coming. So I hide under the desk. And from there, I see that the guy is Christoph. What does he do? Instead of calling the cops or something, he just takes the key, leaves, and locks the door, leaving me trapped. Then he shows up an hour later. I hide again, and naturally, he does all the weird stuff around the scene. I had some of my love letters behind those case files. Takes the bullet that was on the floor and plants his own gun. Huh? He planted a gun? That's the gun that you literally gave us. My guess is that he was trying to make it look like a suicide. And then he left again, and I was left up to my own devices. I was sure he was going to call the cops. So I took the gun. I was going to let myself be taken down, especially for something I didn't do. Then when I heard footsteps and voices and the door broke down, Christoph was there again! He seemed pretty confused that the gun was gone, but he couldn't say anything, obviously, because you were there. But he planted the key, didn't he? Yep. When Christoph left, I thought about leaving my hiding spot, but I didn't think going to jail right after seeing you after all that time was worth it. I was worried about you looking under the desk, but I couldn't do much about that. So I stayed put, and you didn't find me. After that, guess who walks in? Your brother. Rido? He was pretty shocked, but he let me go. He's a good guy, really. So you took the gun with you? Yep. This is that gun, isn't it? Righto? I knew you were going after my brother. I knew he was going to kill Christoph at the station after he was arrested. And I knew you'd figure out what he'd done. I see. So you stalked me and waited for a chance to give me the gun? Righto? I needed you to go in safe. I could have killed him, you know? Dude, he's an assassin. Who cares? Not like we're close or anything. Fair enough, Amelia. Fair enough. After that, I realized I had to jog your memory. I knew he wouldn't tell you why he killed those three. And I also knew you'd look into it. How do you know so much about me? Let's just say I've been pretty close by. There's a reason I started dating Christoph, you know? 'Cause I worked for Christoph? Damn. You just wanted to know more about me? Bingo! Right on the money. Well, damn. You didn't care about Christoph at all. You knew your brother's plan. You could have stopped it. Hey, he didn't care about me either, you know. And he also wasn't really Christoph, so there's that. So none of us are clean here. I sent that letter to test how much he cared, and he did nothing to stop Helen. At least he could have called me to make sure I was okay or something. Jeez. Looking back on it, I'm pretty sure he and Helen were sleeping together. Whoa, damn. Hints were all over the place. I'm glad Helen's in jail. Well, geez. Right. Besides, Christoph was the one who made you this way. He had to get his just desserts. Anyway, where was I? Ah, yeah. I knew you looked into the connection between those three guys. So I put the LY17 file right on top of the pile so you could find it easily. The point you did that was probably the exact point when we ran into you in the evidence room in the other routes. You remember the incident, you remember the hospital, you remember me, and you remember the promise. That plan is a bit, hey, you're here now, so it must have worked. But jeez, you sure could have gotten yourself killed a bunch. When I left you the note for my brother's address, I didn't think you'd go to him with it. Wait, the one that left that was you? Signed A? Huh. Yeah. My brother will probably say it was him out of pride. It was me, though. I wanted you to find that place, find that recording, and nab Kristoff and Helen yourself. You would have been a hero. Plus, you would have been the guy responsible for finding his hideout. Wouldn't that have been working against your brother? In his position, please. He knows not to leave any traces on the hideouts. With his position, he would have known if they were coming after him, so... it would have been all good. Kristoff would have still died. That's not really... good. Sorry to hear that. This is the most insane plan I've ever heard in my life. Wait, you said your dad had Kristoff just to get to me, but why not just approach me? Why the complex scheme? Because you'd said so? Because we literally said not until 15 years later for some arbitrary reason. What? It's been 15 years since our time together. You said that after 15 years we'd meet here. I couldn't let you go against your word. Wow. Well, why are you looking at me like that? Never mind. This reminds me, though. Why would Nell have wanted you dead? Oh, she thinks I killed her brother. Did you? I plead the fifth. He was cheating on me, you know. Just one last question. In order to fake your death, you had to have gotten the body. Where did you get it from? Oh, that's easy. I'd killed her myself. Well, rest in peace, Trucy, right? But I'm different. I'm Amelia. Let me explain what's going to happen. I'm going to call the police. You're going to kindly tell them everything you've told me here today. Then there's going to be a trial. I'll defend you using the insanity plea. You're going to go get treatment and the help you clearly need. Then we'll talk. Uh-oh. For all that, though, because I respect the effort, we're going to go get some coffee. Sound good? Well, I guess playing dead wasn't going to work out either way. So yeah, I'm down. Although I'd rather go get something to eat. I'm starving. Sure. I know a noodle place. That's it! That's it! Fuck. Dude with a mask. Holy shit. Herschel Layton. Damn Layton. Of course you'd make the whole thing a bloody puzzle. Fucking Herschel Layton. John Art. Bandit Apollo. Herschel Layton. Front Phoenix. Hisseldal. Oh man. Amelia one delay. Yep. The usual suspects. Hosting the competition. You. For playing. As if you don't know the drill at this point. Yeah, I mean, we get the credit every single time. So. God, that was a hell of a finale. And really,
having the plan be that wild and taking it that literally, that's, it really, the whole story branching path really made the fact that the plan was that crazy that much better. You know? As it's... the plan could have gone wrong at any one of these points. And so, here's all the scenarios where it didn't go exactly as planned. And, my god, as it turns out, Trucy, or Amelia, the real Amelia Wonderley, was, in fact, the piece that filled in the missing pieces of the puzzle. And they really all fit together. Like, everything was set up. Everything was laid out perfectly. That got resolved in this fucking insane 2-hour epic finale. That was great. I fucking love this. I fucking love this case. It was... I will admit, when I first encountered this case, the first thing I knew about it was like, oh, there's like 10 different endings and branching paths, and that's like immediate ding, count me in. I'm penciling this one in somewhere down the line, and it's just even better. It was... And in a sense, it felt like the Phoenix Wright world with a realer tint on it, because we were letting the police detectives do their thing, you know? And the police detectives were accomplishing things and closing cases. Even though it turned out that the police detective who was being competent and solving things was, in fact, Shelley the Killer, or some descendant therein, of the Killer line. And it's, I guess the only remaining question since the case when Amelia wound up killing her boyfriend at the ski lodge, and Sternwood and Phoenix Wright, the real one, were involved investigating. And we had the obvious Shelley the Killer sprite with John Doe alibi and fella next to him. And Sternwood just let them leave. Was that a red herring? That's the only question I have remaining for you, Mr. Mask. Was that a complete and utter red herring? Having Amelia actually be the killer when Sternwood obviously had an agenda of covering up the result. My original thought was that maybe the guy with the obvious Shelley the Killer sprite was the killer we meet 5 years later, disguised as Phoenix Wright. Maybe that was him. Also conveniently Wonderlay's brother. Why were all of the killers there at the ski lodge then? It was either complete red herring, or the guy with the Shelley the killer was Wonderlay's brother. That's literally the only thing that remains. Everything else pretty much lines up. Pretty solid. Quite a lot more going on there than we, Quite a lot going on there. But it all fit together in the end, in a really great way. Huh. So that is it. Where Birdman walks down the desolate corridor. I have something else in mind for another playthrough after this, but I am open to taking suggestions to other fan case stuff that might be good for me to play. And I will actually consider them this time, instead of just having this on the back burner for several months through Christmas. I will actually consider them, and I'll probably give them a shot down the line. But for now, there's another game that I want to try and play alongside my main series. We'll find out what that is down the line, but for now, it has been 2 hours. The 2-hour series finale of A Birdman Walks Down the Desolate Corridor. I had a fucking great time. It ticks all of my boxes for fantastic shit. I hope you enjoyed. Until next time. Until then.